Get a weighted blanket,
A weighted blanket
for comfort.
Oh, for comfort. Yeah.
Yes,
I have, what's that? Like a little kid with polio.
What?
I feel like they like that.
Don't think anybody has polio anymore.
Okay. Well,
Anyways.
they used to. Okay, go ahead. Welcome back to Stuff That We Like / Enjoy, at least at this point in time.
At least in this point in time.
I am Caleb.
And I'm Christina.
And we're the Castanettas. And today,
I'm going to be asking Caleb, what is something that you like / enjoy?
Thank you for asking me that. It's so kind. Today, my topic is the keto diet.
Okay.
Yes. So, Christina, what do you know about the keto diet?
I believe that you eat only meat, like dairy, butter, eggs, maybe some vegetables.
Meat, butter, dairy, eggs, maybe vegetables.
I think. And the goal is to enter a state of ketosis.
Yes.
Which I think is when your blood sugar levels or something hit a certain, I don't know, and you enter a state of ketosis for fat burning. I'm not sure how you get to it, but that's what I know. I know several people that, friends of mine that have done keto and lost a lot of weight.
Lost a lot of weight. Yeah. Intramagesting.
Not all of them have kept it off. It's been much more of I did it for 3 months kind of a thing. I think most of them are probably closer back to where they were before, but it was beneficial for a time.
Yeah. For a time. That is close to what I've heard about it as well.
Cool.
So you're very close to what it is in the food groups you have to eat. Okay, cool. But broken down, keto is a very low carb, high fat diet that forces your body into a metabolic state called ketosis. So ketosis is a natural metabolic state where the body, lacking sufficient carbohydrates for energy, burns stored fat instead, producing molecules called ketones for fuel.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So your body enters a state where it's burning fat and it produces ketones.
Yes, ketones instead of carbs.
Okay.
Yeah, just think of it like
it's burning.
Mm-hmm, think of it like you're trading in carbs for ketones.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of a ketone before. So.
So in simple terms, instead of burning glucose or carbs for fuel, your body starts burning fat. The typical macro split, and if you guys don't know what macros are, you can either look it up, or we did a fun episode about protein. I think it was last week or the week before.
Yeah, one of those.
You can go back and look at that. But there are 3 macronutrients your body needs, which are fat, protein, and carbs. So the typical macro split for this diet looks something like 70 to 75% fat.
Oh my gosh.
20 to 25% protein, and around 5% carbs.
That's crazy. That's
pretty insane, right?
That's very different.
Yeah.
Than, I mean, I don't know. I'd probably eat maybe 20 to 30% fat. Yeah. Maybe.
Mayhaps.
I don't know. I think even recommendations is like 10 or 15.
Yeah.
Like low fat is like all the craze. I mean, I don't know. It's less nowadays. But
you mean low carb?
No, low fat was a big deal for a long time.
Yeah. People thought fat was evil.
Yeah.
For a long time.
But we need it so our eyes work.
Explain
and our
that.
Brains.
Our eyes?
Well, we need omega-3s so that for a lot of functions, brain function, eye function.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Omega-3s.
Yes.
Instead of omega-6s, which are the not good omega.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks for that little tidbit. So that's a massive shift from how most people eat. Carbs don't just go down. They basically disappear from your diet. Yeah.
So you're not eating any fruit then?
I know.
Yeah. No potatoes, no rice. Maybe a little bit of vegetables.
Maybe. There are a few versions of this actually. So some people do standard keto, which is the classic version we discussed. Some people do targeted keto, which allows you carbs, but just timed around workouts. So it gives you energy for your workout.
Yeah.
Other people do cyclical keto, which I didn't know about this, which has carb refeed days.
Okay.
So you do like a lot of the week just keto, and then you have like a day or two you do carbs.
Oh, you
to
probably feel
refuel your-
amazing on those days.
Oh yeah. Almost like it's normal to have carbs in your life,
Yeah.
like you should.
So how is this different than carnivore? Is it because you can have dairy products?
You know, I'd have to think about that.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Okay.
It seems similar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be. But yeah, let me look into that a little bit
Mhm.
later. Maybe we'll come back to that.
Cool.
There's also dirty keto.
Yes,
which,
I've heard of that.
Yes, it hits the macros, but ignores food quality.
Mm-hmm.
So like pork rinds and processed cheese are allowed
Bacon.
on those diets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything to hit the macros.
Interesting. My grandma had a friend who now I think she's trying to be a vegan, but she was really into keto for a long period of time. And she just would eat like a pound of bacon a day, and so she just was not feeling that great or losing weight, but she was committed.
Yeah, I bet she was committed.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Jazz, eating
Not
that
going
much
to feel
stuff.
that great.
No, you're not. So does any diet that requires you to cut out an entire food group feel very sustainable to you? That's my question.
I guess it matters what you're defining a food group as. Are you
Yeah.
talking about like protein, fat, carbs, or are you talking about like cut out dairy or fruit or things like that?
I would say let's go with one of the macronutrients.
Okay. No, I mean, I think it honestly would be almost impossible to completely cut out one. Like there's carbs in everything, pretty much, even a little bit. But in the aspect of keto, you are cutting out pretty much all carbs. So yeah, carbs aren't bad. Like,
No.
I think God made fruit for us not just to look at.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a ton of carbs in fruit.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. I don't think you're supposed to cut out an entire macronutrient.
Completely. I think you could limit it.
Yeah.
But like never have a piece of fruit again or something like that.
It's insane. It just, doesn't feel very sustainable to me.
Or beans, we found out the other day, are extremely high in carbs.
So
I had no idea.
Carb. I thought that was just like an ultimate protein source.
Yeah.
Turns out you're just eating straight glucose.
With some protein. Yeah.
So a little on the history of the keto diet.
Great.
Keto isn't necessarily just a modern diet trend. It was developed in the 1920s at Johns Hopkins, which is a premier private research facility in Baltimore, Maryland, as a medical treatment for children with epilepsy. Doctors noticed that fasting reduced seizures, and this is proven.
Okay.
They reverse engineered a diet that mimicked the same effect without starvation, like having to starve the kid or adult,
Right.
man or woman,
Boy or girl.
boy or girl. For decades, it stayed in that lane. It was a clinical tool, not necessarily a lifestyle. Then came the Atkins diet
I've heard
in
of
the
that.
1970s. So this is interesting.
Probably our parents did it or our
Yes.
grandparents. Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of boomers
Yeah.
jumped on this train. The Atkins diet plan was a popular low carbohydrate, high protein, and high fat nutritional approach designed for weight loss by inducing ketosis. Same principles that we're just talking about in keto. This wasn't strict keto, but cracked the door open to low carb thinking. The real explosion happened when keto hit the internet.
Okay.
So things like bulletproof coffee,
Oh, yeah.
keto subreddits were created, which is actually popped off. Before and after photos for people who were on keto, and a lot of influencers turning to keto and kind of turning that into their whole internet personality.
Yeah.
This started to really influence people to believe that this diet was sustainable long term. My question to you is, why do you think a diet from 1921 suddenly became this big 100 years later after we've seen it kind of die out?
Right.
Almost.
The Atkins diet kind of died out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think honestly, with how culture has become, we have like societal amnesia. It's just like, oh yeah, we forgot that was a thing 30, 40 years ago. Let's try it again. Like I feel like we're always rediscovering trends or personality tests or ways of eating, ways of dress, ways of exercise. And I think honestly, like social media, probably anything that gains a little bit of traction can kind of go viral. Not even based on a lot of scientific stuff, but that's just like the new thing to try. And also, like, that's a lot more fun, I think, just to be able to eat a lot of like bacon and steak.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot more fun than other diets. It's not calorie restricted as a focus. So, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a good question, though.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that it was kind of developed for kids with seizures.
Mm-hmm.
It was so the sugar, the carbs, they feel like was kind of feeding into the seizures.
Mm-hmm. And I'll get to that a little bit later, the exact science behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is interesting how it's almost like bell-bottom jeans.
Yeah.
It's just coming around again.
Mm-hmm.
There's another time around the sun we're seeing the same stuff.
Right.
And people are into the same kind of diets.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing new under the sun, I guess.
Yeah. Why do you think it came back around?
I think people are just so attracted to quick fixes when it comes to fitness.
Mm-hmm.
The carnivore diet, keto diet, Atkins diet, even veganism for a lot of people. It's just a quick fix.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just want to lose weight and you want to look good. And that influencer who's doing it looks great.
Yes.
So I may try this. And a lot of these diets have like quick responses to your body. Like we talked about with carnivore, though, it's not from the actual diet. It's from you no longer eating Doritos.
Yeah, most of the time. Exactly. Yeah.
It's just that you're on the diet.
It's very hard to overeat when you're on a carnivore diet because meat is so satiating. You're not like eating and then hungry again in an hour. Like people actually have to work to eat enough calories.
Yeah. If you're doing it right.
Exactly.
A lot of people aren't even salting their steak. It's not fun.
No, it's not.
I think that's the thing I keep coming back to, like looking into this exercise or these diets, is that none of them are fun.
No, yes.
If you get down to what keto actually is, it's not eating a lot of stuff with a lot of salt, a lot of flavoring. It's eating the same stuff over and over and over. Yes, it's high in fat, so it's satiating, which is nice. But it's not fun.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking for that fun thing.
Totally.
That thing you can have taste all the time.
So I feel like carnivore was kind of a big hyped thing, but keto is like the funner, more like attainable version of it. Like you can still season your food. I was listening to a podcast of somebody who's on a carnivore diet recently, and they were talking about how being a carnivore is it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like traveling somewhere. If you go to a restaurant, you have to go to somewhere that serves meat and tell them, grill me up a piece of steak. Don't put any seasoning on it. Don't even oil the grill. Just give me just a plank of steak.
Yeah.
Like
plank of steak.
That's not fun.
No, it's not.
No.
So yeah, it's interesting to see the little connections between the big connections, I guess, between all of these diets is that when you actually do them correctly, it's not a good time. And that's just, that's just growth in general in anything though.
Yeah.
So you just got to push through.
Yeah.
So a couple facts about what ketosis, a couple facts about keto. People report fat loss consistently, especially within the first few weeks.
Okay.
They also report reduced sugar cravings. They report steadier energy, no post-lunch crash, which is similar to what we've seen with the carnivore diet.
Okay.
They report more mental clarity and a smaller appetite.
Okay. I've heard that about the mental clarity.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What they don't know is that the first 5 to 10 pounds they lose is mostly water weight.
Oh, interesting.
So it's not fat you're losing for the first 5 to 10 pounds. You see, carbs hold water.
Huh.
You cut them and then water leaves in dramatic form.
But you've not really lost any true
fat.
Yeah.
It's just 10 pounds of water weight.
Wow. So
By
you
the
could
way,
just dehydrate yourself a little bit and you have the same effect.
Exactly. So most of the benefits come from eating more protein and less processed junk like we're talking about.
Yeah.
You're cutting out Doritos and you're eating more fat, more steak, stuff with protein in it, stuff with B12, which is great for your body. So we've talked about some of the pros, what people report. Some of the drawbacks people report are the keto flu.
I've heard of that too.
It's a very real thing that people experience. And it feels like fatigue, headaches, brain fog for the first 1 to 2 weeks as your body adapts. And then, of course, social eating becomes hard. But you also have these micronutrient gaps that nobody talks about, especially with potassium, magnesium, and fiber, because your body's no longer getting that. from vegetables.
Interesting. And we need magnesium for like not having muscle cramps, help you sleep better.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is really, they've found that it's actually not great for endurance athletes as well. So because in high intensity cardio, whether that's long form or just sprints, you need glucose. Your body needs to burn that energy right away sometimes. And this specific diet has been another drawback is that it's been really hard to sustain.
Okay.
Long term for most people, this does not work out. Kind of like the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
So who it actually helps, there's a select few who should be probably on the keto diet, and that's people with epilepsy, like we talked about. So this is the reason behind that. The ketogenic diet helps manage epilepsy by forcing the brain to use fat-derived ketones for energy instead of glucose, which reduces the excitability of neurons and stabilizes brain activity. I'm not a neuroscientist.
Right.
I don't necessarily know why reducing glucose reduces the excitability of neurons, but I would assume they just don't have energy.
Right. Yeah. I guess the blood sugar spike, like a spike, could maybe throw off your equilibrium.
See, that would make sense to me.
Seizure.
That would make sense to me. Again, I don't know what I'm talking about with anything like that, but that would make sense to me.
How interesting.
So people with epilepsy, it really helps.
Cool. People
with PCOS or insulin resistance. So PCOS is polycystic ovary syndrome. It's a common hormonal and metabolic disorder affecting roughly 10% of women of reproductive age. It is characterized by high levels of androgens, so male hormones, irregular or absent ovulation, and numerous small follicles or fluid-filled sacs on the ovaries. So some of the symptoms of this would be acne, excessive hair growth, hair loss, and difficult to lose weight gain.
Okay.
To gain a lot of weight, can't lose it real easily. And people with insulin resistance is supposed to be really good for them as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So really select people. This is going to help.
With health problems.
Yeah. And some people who binge on carbs are going to benefit from this in the short term because you're going to learn not to binge on carbs.
Or even if you're like, I'm being 75% keto, like each day, just limiting the amount of carbs, I think could be helpful for a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
This could be a good training tool.
Yeah.
So who should be careful with this? Endurance athletes, number one. And number two, people with a history of disordered eating. Okay. If you had an eating disorder before, restricting yourself further is not going to help you. Also, anyone with kidney issues. This one surprised me. So the ketogenic diet can be harmful to people with kidney issues because its high protein and fat intake forces the kidneys to work harder.
Okay.
This accelerates damage to people with chronic kidney damage.
And your body's not retaining as much water because you're not having carbs and your kidneys need water.
That would make sense to me.
That's just my non-scientific thought.
Same here.
How interesting. Well, also I wonder, so vegetables, plants, a lot of things we eat have pesticides residue on them. But meat in particular, unless you're getting grass-fed, hormone-free meat, has a lot of hormones in it. And so I wonder if like really upping the amount of, inexpensive meat you're eating, if that could, the hormonal intake, if that could affect you as well.
I think for sure. I think for people who can't necessarily afford good food, like unprocessed or what would you say? Like
organic grass-fed,
organic grass-fed, hormone-free meat. I think it's a definite area you got to watch out for because it's just so easy to just go to Aldi and be like, this is good for me. I'm on the carnivore diet. I'm on the keto diet. And then years down the road, you have like cancer.
Yeah. Well, these pork chops made me sick. Yeah.
So just be really careful, people with those issues. My question to you is, do you think most people doing keto are using this as like a medicinal thing? Or could it be possible that a lot of people are just trying to have a little bit more of a feeling of control in their life?
I would guess that most people do it for weight loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As with most diets. I think it's
totally. Yeah.
Most diets And most people that do diets, I would say, is because of weight loss, not solely health.
Yeah. And I think that's I don't know.
It's understandable.
It's understandable. That's a good way to put
Yeah.
it. I was going to say like it's a good thing, but a lot of people, I don't know. I want to say most people are losing weight for the wrong reasons, but
Yeah.
it's tough. Like to lose weight for the right reasons is actually tough because we live in a society that rewards being skinny at all costs.
Exactly. Yeah. Because like, if you want to lose weight, I think that's amazing. But like you said, if you're doing it in an unhealthy way, and then your brain, is lacking, helpful nutrients and stuff, like that's not you losing those last 10, 15 pounds might not be the health advantage as just like, hey, eating some apples and bananas and being sustainable,
Totally.
Yeah.
So just be careful. Like if you're going to do this, just be careful, be smart about it, and don't do it long term unless you are one of these select few people with epilepsy or PCOS or what have you. Some key takeaways here though. I wrote down here at the end. Keto is a real metabolic state. We have to acknowledge that ketones are real, and that is a pro of this diet is being able to burn ketones instead of glucose. The second thing we have to acknowledge is that this thing started as a medicine, not a way of life.
Yeah.
So
it's a medical intervention.
Yes. And to use a medical intervention as a diet, little crazy.
Right.
Little crazy.
Yeah.
Another thing we have to acknowledge is short-term results are real.
Totally.
But it's water. You got to realize 10 pounds of what you're losing is water before you actually start losing fat.
Or it's because you stopped eating Doritos. Yeah.
Yes. Long-term, it's extremely hard to sustain. And this ultimately works best as a tool for a very unique problem. So everybody out there, if you're thinking about trying this, shop around for a different diet before you try this one, unless you have epilepsy, and then do it.
Yeah, that's so amazing. That's cool that it's that significantly helpful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Super wild.
Yeah. Cool. Great topic.
Thanks.
Love it. I didn't know much about it.
Me either.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very cool.
On this next part of the podcast, we like to do a topic we like to call Villains of History.
Villains of History.
So I'm going to toss it over to Christina and see what she's got for us today.
Okay. I'm going to start, as we do, with a story and see if you can figure out who this person is.
Nice. I'm gonna snuggle in. I'm going to get my blanket.
Oh, this is not a good bedtime story.
Okay.
This is kind of a sad story, but you can still snuggle in.
No blanket, though.
Get a weighted blanket.
A weighted blanket?
For comfort.
Oh, for comfort. Yeah. Like I have, what's that? Like a little kid with polio.
What?
I feel like they like that.
Don't think anybody has polio anymore.
Okay. Well,
Anyways.
they used to. Okay, go ahead.
A warm blanket?
I don't know.
Okay, cool. I don't know if they had weighted blankets back then. Anyways, very fun.
Okay.
All right. It was a clear spring morning in Halajab, a quiet Kurdish town. Families stirred in their homes, mothers boiling tea, children chasing each other through narrow streets, farmers tending the fields. No one knew that this ordinary day would become a symbol of unimaginable horror. High above, warplanes appeared. At first, the people thought it was a raid from a neighboring country. Rockets whistling down, shattering windows, and setting roofs ablaze. Then came artillery shells. But these were no ordinary bombs. As the dust settled, a strange smell filled the air, sweet, like rotten apples mixed with garlic. The gas had arrived. It spread silently, invisibly. Mustard gas, sarin, and taboon, chemical weapons. Within minutes, eyes burned, skin blistered, lungs filled with fluid. People staggered into the streets, gasping, vomiting, clutching at their throats. Mothers watched their babies die in their arms. Fathers collapsed while trying to carry their children to safety. Birds fell from the sky. Livestock lay twitching in the fields. One survivor later recalls the chaos. Families running only to drop as they ran. Hospitals overflowed with the dying. An estimated 5,000 civilians, mostly women, children, and the elderly, perished that day. Thousands more suffered lifelong injuries, blindness, respiratory failure, and cancers that would haunt generations. But this was no battlefield accident. It was part of a campaign, a systemic genocide against the Kurdish people. The man who ruled from Baghdad had decided his own people were the enemy. The poisoned sky over Halabja was not just an act of war, it was a calculated message of terror from a dictator who feared losing control.
I'm going to guess Osama bin Laden.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein? So close.
Which, until me researching this, I ashamedly couldn't have told you the difference between the two. So,
I don't think that I can now. So,
yes.
Same boat. So
now we're going to learn a bit about Saddam Hussein.
Okay, cool.
And we'll be able to in the future.
Love it.
So, Saddam Hussein was born in April of 1937 in a poor village near Tikrit, Iraq, to a Sunni Arabic family. His father died or disappeared, we're not quite sure, before his birth, leaving his mother alone. She was deeply depressed, and she reportedly tried to abort the pregnancy and commit suicide.
Oh my
gosh. But both attempts failed.
Woo.
So, not a great start. When Saddam was born, his mother sent him to live with relatives. His early years were marked by extreme poverty in a mud hut that had no electricity or running water. He endured brutal abuse from his stepfather, who local men called Hassan the Liar.
Wow.
His uncle or stepfather would beat him and was very abusive to him. He was also bullied by other children, so he would walk around with an iron bar for protection. So he was just a very, unstable young kid. And around age 10, he fled to Baghdad to live with his uncle, who was a former army officer who had become his father figure, who radicalized him with Arabic nationalistic ideas.
Jeez, oh man. Again with the fathers.
Yes.
Like again with the thing we already know about these dictators as they grow. It's just like bad fathers make bad men.
Yes. Yeah, so his father abandoned him. His mom literally gave him up. His stepfather was abusive to him and then ran away to live with his uncle, who radicalized him into Arabic nationalist ideas. So not the best start, but very interesting just to humanize who this man would become. So Saddam joined the Ba'ath Party as a teenager. So the Ba'ath Party was a socialist political party, which is very interesting. As we've gone through these other dictators, they're almost all socialist or communist or a in-between.
Which I've heard that socialism is kind of just another word for communism.
It'd be interesting to dig into
with the
distinctions. But so it was a socialist political party that promoted Arabic unity, socialism, and freedom from foreign influence. So much like the African Mozambique queen that we covered a couple weeks ago, who was super against foreign influence, kind of taking away from their culture. In 1959, when he was a teenager, he took part in a failed assassination attempt on Iraq's prime minister. During the assassination attempt, Saddam was wounded and fled to Syria, and then he moved to Egypt, where he studied law briefly. So decided to become a lawyer. But he returned to Iraq 4 years later and was imprisoned after he had participated in another failed coup to take over the Iraqi government.
What are we doing?
He was very dedicated to this Ba'ath Party that he was a part of.
Man.
He escaped from prison and 5 years later helped orchestrate a successful coup, and they took over the government of Iraq.
He escaped from prison?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And the Ba'ath Party staged another successful coup. It was like largely nonviolent. They pretty much just like, hey, we're taking over. They came in with enough force. And he became the vice president of Iraq pretty much overnight.
Okay.
He effectively ran the government, even though he was the vice president, and he greatly improved Iraq's oil industry, which brought great wealth and a lot of money to the government.
That's nice.
But also, they weren't good people, but they had a lot of funding.
Yeah.
In 1979, he forced the president of Iraq to resign so that he could become president. He told the guy, you're getting too old, and I'm taking over. So he just kind of marched his way up that ladder.
Wow.
And then he immediately purged all political rivals on a televised spectacle executing dozens of people live on TV.
No.
Streamed throughout the nation.
What?
So that's how he kind of just stated his like, hey, this is what I'm going to be. If you're against me, I'm going to kill you in the streets on live TV.
I would have killed the previous president too.
Well, he was a part of the same party, so.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see.
Exactly.
Copy.
So anybody that was going to be a rival to him, he's like, got the the TV cameras out.
Hey, same thing with the Queen.
Yeah.
When she came to power, she killed everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody who was like part of the family who could have taken over.
Exactly. Yeah. Wild. So now we get into, as if that wasn't enough, why he was so bad. What was so bad about Saddam? So his regime was defined by brutality. His goal was to maintain the Sunni Kurdish rule. So there's different types of Muslims, like Sunni Muslim and Shia Muslim. And Shia Muslim was the majority of the population of Iraq, whereas he grew up in the Sunni Muslim tradition, specifically Kurdish.
Okay.
And so they were much more impoverished and much less of the population. So his goal was to kind of eliminate more Shia Muslims and prop up Sunni Kurdish people.
Okay.
And he would do it by any means necessary. He launched the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s, which ended up killing around 1 million people.
Oof.
And during that conflict, he did a genocide against the Kurdish people, which was really wild because he was Kurdish, Sunni Kurdish, but the Kurdish people weren't really kind of coming along with supporting him. So he decided just to take out his own people, which is where that story comes from earlier of using chemical weapons. And he ended up killing over 180,000 Sunni Kurdish people.
No way.
Children, families, just in farm fields, just by dropping chemical weapons on him. People who weren't even like opposing him, but they could, maybe in the future.
Man.
Yeah. In 1990, he invaded Kuwait, which triggered the start of the Gulf War, which was a huge mess. In 1991, uprisings by other Iraq Shiite Muslims and Kurdish Muslims who were now very mad at him because he was just taking people out for no reason. There was some uprising and he massacred tens of thousands of more people. So just pretty much anybody who opposed him, just dead and your family dead. And he did this through a vast network of secret police as well as torture to get confessions from people, which might even be false confessions, which would then lead to an entire town or family getting taken out.
That's funny. It's another thing that Pol Pot did and that Hitler did, which is they had their own little Hitler youth basically running around. So informing on other people. Even
Genghis Khan, it was kind of like, come along with me and you're good. Not, we're just going to kill y'all.
It's strange the amount of...
No in between.
Well, it's strange. Yeah, zero in between. The amount of insecurity within these leaders. They killed off the opposition and the families of the opposition. And then they have other people report to them of possible opposition.
Yes.
That only happens if you're afraid of somebody coming and stabbing you in the back. It makes sense if you make a lot of enemies, but it's just rooted in insecurity.
Right. Yeah. And he's like, I want Sunni Muslims to be the ones who like rule Iraq, but they weren't coming along with him. So he's like, I'm just going to kill them all. Yeah. His own people. Yeah. Yeah. His own religious base.
My gosh.
He also tested chemical and biological weapons on his own citizens. So he was kind of like doing study cases on if we drop mustard gas, does that kill more people than sarin gas?
Yeah.
Or, so on his own population.
Do you think he did any like cosmetic tests? Just went straight to human trials like lipstick and
I don't know.
Eyeshadow.
Knowing that kind of the way to bring some humor into this dark moment.
Like passed up animal testing on this new baby powder and just went straight to a human guy.
Well, the thing is, like, you know that there's people out there that are more upset about things being tested on animals than humans dying.
Which is insane.
Just wild to me.
Yeah.
Anyways, get into more of that later. So as a result, so he tested chemical and biological weapons on his own citizens and he suppressed all dissenting opinions. There was no free press. He used the secret police, as I mentioned before. So you couldn't even like barely have a thought against him. Yeah. Let alone talk amongst your family because your family could be an informant.
Mm-hmm.
So this led to Iraq being a very isolated and impoverished and traumatized country by the time he was overthrown in 2003.
Wow.
So he ruled for 24 years as president, and previous to that was kind of almost the acting president. So do you know how he got taken down?
Was it Osama bin Laden?
No. This shows sadly how much we know about our own history.
I'm going to guess assassination.
Okay. So Saddam's government was overthrown by a U.S.-led military invasion known as Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Woohoo!
So U.S. forces came in and pretty much in a period of like 3 to 6 weeks took over the government and kind of handed it back to the people because there was no elections. Saddam actually, he held elections, but they were 100% for him. And there was nobody else on the ballot. And everybody had to vote or else you were killed.
Yeah.
So not truly free elections. So they came
So
in
stupid.
and I remember
What are you
this.
voting for?
Right.
I don't know.
Right. The one guy on the ballot. Yeah. They're watching me fill out. Yeah.
Somebody writes Kanye West.
Be a better choice, honestly.
Yeah.
So there's a really cool image online of the military, the U.S. military, helping the Iraqis tear down this very tall statue of Saddam.
That's cool.
But Saddam escaped capture.
What?
But he was found 9 months later in an underground hole in this old farmhouse. They had created this little tiny bunker the size of a coffin under this farmhouse with like this ventilation fan. And he was just hiding down there. They came and they took him out. He was tried by an Iraqi tribunal for crimes against humanity and sentenced to death. And on December 30th, 2006, Saddam Hussein was executed by hanging at Camp Justice in Baghdad at around 69 years of age.
Jeez. Was 69. Okay.
There we go.
Do we know what his last words were?
No.
I'd be curious to see if he was repentant. Probably not. But somebody like that who's just done so much evil in their life and then to have themselves like unanimously considered a dictator and also someone who's committed crimes against humanity, which is a huge claim. I would be interested to hear what they had to say.
Yeah. Okay, I just pulled it up. So there's different reports about what were his last words or whatever. So as the guards were bringing him out to be hung, they're like, "You're going to hell," he told them. And then when the noose was placed around his neck, he said, "There's no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. The Muslim Urim will be victorious, and Palestine is Arab. I bear the witness there is no God but God, and I bear the witness that Muhammad is the messenger of God."
Wow.
So he obviously was doing this in the name of, his Islamic Muslim beliefs.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, but it's kind of wild that that's just how he went out.
Dang. So that was at 2006, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So we were 12 years old and this guy died.
That makes sense why I remember hearing about these guys, but not really knowing exactly, which is kind of probably embarrassing that we should probably know the difference between Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein. But
yeah.
So what do you think is some ways that we can prevent someone like him from rising to rule in the future?
The obvious one is be a good father to your son. Yeah. Don't beat him. Don't abandon him. Yeah. The second one is don't radicalize him to kill other people, and that other people are impure and need to be eliminated. That was
a big thing, that he was very into his Muslim faith, but not the specific kind of Muslim faith.
Yeah. That's another big takeaway. Socialism, again, rearing its ugly head.
Yeah.
Don't be a socialist. That's another easy one for sure. So I think those are the big three for him that I can point out.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, other than, the importance of good fathers and not being radicalized by your religion.
Totally.
Having a democratic society, having term limits, having a free press, having fair elections, having constitutional limits on like your power as president. He pretty much could do whatever he wanted. And so that's important. All the things that for how many negatives you can come up with the U.S. government, that we at least attempt to have a lot of those things in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whether you believe that's a facsimile or not, at least we have the appearance of what you've just described.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah.
For sure. I think also sufficiently, and this keeps coming up week after week. I talk to you about it almost weekly at this point, but sufficiently arming your population in order to fight a dictator if one were to arise.
Yes.
I think that's really important.
Right.
I think that's super huge right now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that our president is that dictator or one's going to arise soon, but I do think that that's super important. It would have really helped these people out if they were armed by their government and it was in their constitution or whatever that would be, whatever they have. I don't even know if they have a constitution in any sense of the word, but I think that's huge.
Yeah.
People being able to defend themselves from the government.
Totally. Well, and it shows that even like the previous government before him and the Ba'ath Party came in and staged pretty much a nonviolent coup. That means that they had enough military force coming in that they could just take over, which means the existing government even didn't really have much force to fight back with.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a big one too.
Yeah. It's good.
Wow.
So that's Saddam Hussein. And I have a funny story to add to that.
Okay. Wow. I like this little levity at the end.
So I was probably in between 10 or 12 years old. And a bunch of my cousins were in town and we were at my Aunt Carol's house in Loveland. And they had a very large chicken coop. It had several roosters and I don't know, maybe 20 chickens or whatever. And we loved going over there and like, you could even like chase the chickens and pick them out. They were pretty nice. But they had one rooster who was just horribly mean and they named him Saddam Hussein. And so I go out and I'm hanging out with my cousins and we go in the chicken coop and Saddam Hussein had died and was just laying there.
No way.
Dead. And so we ran to the house.
Navy SEALs got him. That's what happened.
We ran to the house and I announced to my aunts and uncles, Saddam Hussein is dead. And they're like, whoa, really? They're like, we hadn't seen the news. I'm like, no, the chicken. Like, so yeah, I was like, breaking news, the best thing ever. The evil chicken, Saddam is dead.
That's too funny. Oh my gosh.
So throw some levity in there. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? That's actually a really good cathartic way to get out your anger at these dictators is to name a pet after them.
Right. A mean one. And then when it dies, celebrate.
Because they're going to die sooner than you are. Just celebrate it.
Yeah.
Instead of mourn it.
Yeah. Absolutely wild. Yeah.
Well, great topic, baby.
Well, thank you.
Really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think you did him as much justice as he needed.
There we go. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Just wild, once again, to reiterate. I mean, for like the 8th time now, it's just insane that all of these dictators had horrible and abusive fathers.
Yeah.
Or completely absent. Yeah.
And we're not sponsored by BetterHelp or any other therapeutic practice. But if you didn't have a dad, or if you had a bad dad, I would highly recommend seeing somebody, a therapist, a mentor, somebody in the church who you trust, who is a good father figure or mentor. It could really turn around your life.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's hope.
There is hope on the other side of this.
Yeah.
So good topic, baby.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right. And now we're going to end this episode by throwing out a little suggestion or recommendation to our listeners. So, babe, what is something you'd like to recommend to them?
Something I'd like to recommend. Man, this is tough. I had an actor in mind. Actually, no, here's what I'll recommend.
Okay.
There is a Prime TV show that's coming out very soon that I'm excited about. And it's got Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
there's a clue. A clue. It's got Nicolas Cage in it, and he's Spider-Man. It's called Spider Noir. And he's Spider-Man in, let's see, when would it be? It's like the times when they would, they'd wear like hats and they had like submachine guns and Bonnie and Clyde were alive.
Okay.
You know that time
60s,
period,
40s,
maybe the 40s,
before
roaring
we were
20s,
born,
maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, it's in that time period, and he's Spider-Man, but he's like a detective who wears like the detective hat and has a trench coat, but he's
Is this
Spider-Man.
animated?
No, it's real life.
Nicolas Cage is Spider-Man.
in Spider Noir. It's called Noir. And the show is coming out in black and white, or they have another one that's just color.
It sounds
So
like
you
a
can watch
fever
it in either
dream.
one.
Like, this doesn't sound real.
Isn't that crazy?
That's so exciting.
But it comes from Into the Spider-Verse,
Okay.
where there is a Spider-Man and an animated movie called Into the Spider-Verse, and he's Spider Noir, and it's voiced by Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
So they made that into a real TV show, and it's coming out, I think, next month. Pretty sure.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm
Cool.
excited about it.
How interesting.
I like he's weird. He does a lot of stuff that I'm not a fan of these days. Some really dark, twisted stuff. But he's by far one of my favorite people to see, like, kind of lose his mind in a role or lose himself in a role.
Very committed, dedicated.
Yeah, definitely
least,
committed.
yeah.
A little too much.
Wow.
A little too much.
Okay.
Yeah, so go
it's
check it out. I think it's called Spider Noir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Very experimental
Yeah.
sounding movie.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if it's not good, who cares?
Yeah.
It's Nicolas Cage. What about you, babe?
This is kind of a broader or maybe obvious suggestion. But I think it's important in life to be able to not only defend your own personal beliefs, whether that be political, religious, moral, but also be able to articulate and understand pretty well another person, the opposing belief or an alternative belief. Because I feel that I'm somebody I'm pretty aware of why I believe what I believe.
Totally.
And I can tell you why.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's obvious topics that's like, oh, abortion. Like, I believe that's wrong. So I don't need to maybe study exactly everybody's arguments for it. But with more like religious topics, I think it's helpful to not only be able to defend or articulate your belief, but understand what somebody else is believing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Be open-minded
Right.
enough to understand the opposing view, even though you
Right.
don't agree.
Yes. And open-minded in the sense of, like, I think it's helpful to be able to have a discussion with somebody. And it's not like, I've seen so many debates, even like on the YouTube channel Surrounded, which is really fun, where I've seen conservative or liberal commentators come on, and they're really excellent at defending or explaining what they believe, but they're not really tracking or understanding what the person sitting across from them believes.
Totally.
And so then I think it's just two people talking at each other.
Yeah.
There's nothing, like, you don't really get anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A debate, I've always heard it described this way. A debate is for the people watching.
Yeah.
It's not, nobody's minds are going to be changed between the two people talking.
Exactly.
So that's a great point.
Yeah.
Just be open-minded enough to understand
Yeah.
and have a conversation with somebody.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great, babe.
Thanks. Yeah, because I was at a church service recently, and the person giving the message, they were teaching on something that I have a very different view on. But I'm like, I'm very interested to know how they got to that perspective.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm not just going to be like, oh, well, they haven't read their Bible enough. It's like, no, they did. And that's what they came up with.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of research more of that kind of perspective and what the biblical backing is.
Well, the interesting thing about it is, you're right. This person is on stage, excuse me, doing preaching from the Word of God, which they have a job to study,
Yes.
to teach.
Yeah.
And they're teaching a principle that you dove into head first, like a couple months ago.
Yes.
And really, really went deep. But they seem to have kind of flippantly blown off studying that part of scripture because they consider it almost not important
Well, they even
in comparison
said that.
with other parts.
Yeah, they're like, this isn't really an important topic.
Yeah.
So we don't need to really talk about it much. And then he was saying some stuff. I'm like, oh, that's not really in the Bible.
Yeah. So it's
but
interesting.
it's probably in some books or movies that he's watched and maybe didn't realize that wasn't in the Bible.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see somebody whose job it is to do one thing, and you're like, you've studied one particular part of the Bible enough to be like, actually, it doesn't say that.
Yeah.
And that's
and
pretty
I can
insane.
kind of understand a little bit of where you're coming from on these areas, but the other, I'm like, oh no, that just came from a movie.
Yes.
You know?
So being open-minded, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, it's great.
But being open-minded enough to have a conversation and be like, why?
Yeah.
That's important.
Exactly. In a kind and helpful way. Because, like, I believe if you love Jesus, you believe he's the only way to heaven, that's the most important theological thing for us all to be on board with. And other stuff doesn't matter as much. But yeah, when somebody's confidently teaching people something that's like, oh, I think you think that's in the Bible, but it's not. So I wonder how you got to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it can be helpful.
Yeah.
But it can be with political things, with
Totally.
morality. I know so many people, not so many people, but many people that generally liberal people think that conservative people are psycho and out of their mind, and vice versa. And that's because those are the top 5% of either viewpoints that are on social media being psycho out of their mind, but not everybody else is, you know? So it's good to know what people believe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That it's not just religion you're talking about.
Yes.
It's with any conversation you're going to have with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I would bet you would have a lot more fun in life if you went into conversations that way.
Yeah.
Instead of having to defend yourself. You would find people more interesting.
Yes.
And you'd be a lot more curious.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean you need to get lost. Like you said at the beginning of this, it's like, know where you stand.
Right. Yeah.
Have an opinion and understand why you believe that. That doesn't mean you have to convince the other person. You can go in there curious.
Totally.
And I think you'll have a lot more, your life will be a lot easier.
Yeah, totally. Like I'm on a worship team with, I think there's 9-10 of us, of amazing people that love Jesus wholeheartedly. And I disagree with every single one of them on different theological or, maybe not quite moral views, but maybe different perspectives. But I'm interested to hear their thoughts and their excitement about something. And none of it's like salvation affecting or like huge in life. I'm like, if I have to be like, I'm the only one who's right and they're all, oh, they didn't, research this enough. You're not going to have a relationship with almost anybody.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't want to be just friends with people who only see things exactly as I do. Because what if I'm wrong? And I'm probably wrong about a good deal of things, I believe. Hopefully,
You?
I don't know.
No.
Me?
I'm not wrong.
You?
I'm not wrong. There's no way.
So then we turn into echo chambers, and that's just not healthy for anybody. So,
Totally.
Yeah.
I think, I'm sorry to keep harping on this, and it's like the last part of the podcast, everybody, but
they can turn it off if they want.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Yeah. No, stay. Thanks.
Okay. You can stay. But yeah, you'll have a lot more fun in life. And we're called to love people. And it's harder to love people who you demonize because they believe something different than you.
Yes.
If you're able to recognize, like you said, with humility, that you could be wrong.
Yeah.
And you're able to have conversations with people and have an open mind, then it's easier to love people that way.
Yeah.
I think a lot of pride goes into you believing you're right about a topic when you're talking to somebody else. There are very few things in my life, I could probably count them on both of my hands, that I believe wholeheartedly.
100%. No.
100%. Yes. Very few things. And so when I go into a conversation with somebody, it leaves me at a little bit of a disadvantage, I could say, when it comes to like debate. And I think that's a great thing because you learn a lot more. And I'm not bitter or angry towards that person because they don't believe what I believe at the end of the conversation. Yeah. It makes walking out the Great Commission easier.
Yes.
So that's another plus.
No, yeah, I totally think that's great. And I was going to kind of make that same comment that there's maybe 5 things that I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm 100% right on this and any other view is wrong. But when I'm relating to people, other than maybe on those topics, about anything else, even if I'm like in my mind, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm right. The way I engage with them if I'm like 80%. Right.
That's cool.
And not in a like fake way, but I'm actually like, yeah, this is kind of what I think. And I'm like, this was right.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings is better than Star Wars.
That's one of my 10 things.
Yes. So, I mean, you can burn so many bridges and ruin so many relationships on stuff that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Or stuff, I mean, if you get back to theology, there's so much in scripture that is for certain, but there's so much more that really is so subjective and up to interpretation. And the American church is fully convinced in, and you go to Asia, they have a completely different view. And they're very convinced in it too, based on scripture. So there's so much that's not worth like freaking out about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great Great way to end this, babe.
Well, thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Lastly, we like to tell you a couple ways you can reach us. You can reach out to us for this podcast at
What's
stuff that we
like podcast
at gmail.com.
Yes.
You can also do it on Instagram at
Stuff That We Like podcast.
You can hit Christina up on Instagram at
See Joyfully.
You can hit me up on Instagram at
Caleb C Media.
That's right. I write music. I do video photography in Kansas City. So if you need your film scored, if you need video or photography done, hit me up. We also have a video company called Moodwave Media that does video for not KC, anywhere in the U.S. that any nonprofits that need video done for them.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm looking directly at you while
That's
I'm
right.
talking.
You can look at the good camera.
Oh, I'm already started.
Okay.
I'm going to finish it up just looking right at you.
Thanks. I don't know any of this information. Tell me more.
This is good for couples. They say 5 minutes of uninterrupted eye contact a day.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to contact us about that, your nonprofit needs any video done, you can hit us up at moodwavemedia@gmail.com. And that's all we got for today.
All right. Well, thank you all once again for joining us. This has been Stuff That We Like / Enjoy, at least at this point in time. And we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.